Hey everybody, welcome to Princess Friend, and I am your host, Princess Friend. And I did this video about a year ago where I kind of went through what it was like to have Prince's YouTube channel here. This was, of course, back when I probably only had 2,000 or 3,000 subs, and now we're at least 4 times larger. And of course, more money, more problems, so there's a whole lot more things to kind of discuss. If you want to stay in the loop, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you are notified directly whenever we put out a new video. But what I really wanted to do here is I kind of wanted to go through some of the goods and the bads. I've been contacted by quite a few people in recent months that are looking to start their own podcast, YouTube channel or whatever about Prince, and they've asked me to either be on it or for advice, or if they want to come on here and help promote it a little bit. And, you know, these things are all fine and good, but I also just recently went through my subscriber list and I had to take about 4 or 5 Prince-themed YouTube channels off of my subscriber list because they were either no longer there or the majority of their material was taken off of their channel, and it wasn't worth it for me anymore. So these are unique issues that I'm not even going to say that they're unique just to us. I mean, we definitely are not the only ones who are subject to copyright rules. However, there is an increased level of scrutiny if it is a Prince-themed channel. In the last Having a Prince Channel is Hard video, I talked a lot about why I started it, and there are a lot of great reasons why I continue doing it. Obviously, the first one is the ability to spread our love of Prince's music and his message. One of my favorite things that happens is when I see a comment that says, "Because of your channel, I have learned to appreciate Prince's music more," or "Because of your channel, I now know the theory and I understand like the backstory of these songs better and it makes me love it more." I actually had just recently another person said, now that the albums have been released from 1994 on, I get it now when you said that Prince was more than the 80s and that his 90s stuff is amazing. These are all things that obviously are very fulfilling for me, and it's part of the reason why I keep this going. Part of the reason. So that's one. I love to educate. I love to have my theories out there. I like to have discussions with all of you. And that's part 2, is that we're building a community here. It's not just me. I'm not just a talking head. Almost every video that I put up, at least for the day or so afterwards, I try to be engaging in the comments. I try to make sure that I'm not just throwing videos up here and then just hoping that you watch them. Part of this channel for me is you. I mean, I do love the sound of my own voice, but it can really only go so far. A lot of what I'm here for is to converse with other people who are scholars of Prince, who might know more about Prince than I do. I never claim to know everything, but usually I don't make a video unless I have something to back it up with. Unless I specifically say I have nothing to back it up with. That's a whole other thing. And that's part of it too, is that doing this channel has actually kept me in the loop with a lot of things that I never really followed before. I know a whole lot more news. Things get shared with me that I didn't catch, you know. That's one of the great things about being on a YouTube channel such as this, is that a lot of things get shared with you and you get to share those things with the world. I actually love the fact that when I post a video, you all really do engage with it. And that's why even sometimes if other channels have reported it already, I do end up making a video, because I'll notice that another channel, and again, I love all of the other channels, another channel will end up posting some news and they'll get 100 hits, and then I'll post it and I'll get, 1,500 to 2,000 hits. And that is not to, scoop the story from them, but that's also just to make sure that we get the message out there a little bit faster. And that's also why I do a lot of collaboration videos. And another thing I love doing here is meeting those other people in podcasts or who have their own YouTube channels or websites or whatever. And I get to meet these people and I can actually share their messages and their stuff with you all as well. Those collaboration videos are not by accident. I invite these people on and they are amazing all in their own right. And actually, one of those channels just did a video sharing about all the different channels. That was Nightchild, and I'll put a link to that video specifically so that you can go check that out. And he talks about me, but he also talks about like 11 or 12 other cool resources that you have out there to get news and join in different communities. And I think that these are the important moments here, is where it's not about me. A lot of people have actually asked me why I don't share my name all the time. For me, this is about the music. It's about Prince. I am one of many Prince friends out there, and I wouldn't think to try and make this about me specifically. Like, yes, of course, I have the platform here. I'm the one that's kind of guiding the discussions, and I'm the one creating the content. But at the same time, if it wasn't for Prince, and if it wasn't for his message and his spirituality and the love that he had for all of us friends, there would be no channel. And I think the other thing about this channel that I really love is that it keeps me experimenting. I do try to post up different types of videos. When we first started, I actually was a majority review channel, and I still do reviews, and I try to get them out as often as possible. At the same time, being on here longer has opened us up to more discussions, more talking about stuff, more doing research and creating more video essays, things like that, which I have super enjoyed doing for everybody here. So I appreciate you all for appreciating the work and the hard work that goes into it. We posted a judges panel, and I can let you know that that one took about 2 to 2.5 weeks or so to plan, get everybody's stuff, edit it, make it look good, and, you know, really try to get everything down. So about 2.5 weeks for a video. That's about 35 minutes, which is great. But there's a lot of work that goes into these videos that a lot of people don't understand. Obviously, with the good comes the bad. So let me also go through a few bad parts of having a Prince-themed YouTube channel. So number one is obviously that the copyright boogeyman is always waiting around the corner. When I started the channel, I had a lot of stuff that obviously should not have been on here, and I've learned from that mistake. Not every channel has. But there are a lot of channels that, you know, they'll post up stuff as tribute, or they'll post up a cover or whatever. They'll be demonetized or even blocked entirely, and they'll get taken down. I've had some of my videos taken down for that reason, because I'll use a clip from something or whatever, which is why I try to keep my videos as much original content of me, or, you know, stuff like that. But there's always a fine line that you have to end up walking whenever you have a Prince-themed YouTube channel. Again, there's an increased scrutiny when you have this type of channel. I think the other part is that there's definitely a sense of tribalism in our communities. There's definitely I think this one's the best and nothing will ever change my mind. There's also the whole thing, I get a lot of people who are Michael Jackson fans or fans of other musicians who come on and they just want to come on and say how terrible, you know, Prince is. You know, I don't really know why they would want to do that, but, you know, some people have nothing better to do with their time, I guess that's the answer. But there's also a lot of negativity that can come along with this sort of thing, especially when you are like me, and I like to voice my opinion, whether it's popular or not. I wouldn't even say that my stuff is controversial, but I definitely don't shy away from saying if something is good or something is bad. And I'm not one of those people who put Prince on a pedestal. I loved his message, I love his songs, I love everything about the man, but there are a few things that were problematic in his history. You know, it's because he's human. He's a human being. He didn't do everything perfectly. He took a lot of effort in manicuring his image and how he was portrayed to the public, which was why we see him as this enigmatic kind of, you know, mystery guy. But he was just a human, just like anyone else. And I think that if we're all able to take the good with the bad, especially with the things that we especially love, then we'll be able to appreciate those things better. And of course, a lot of that is reflected in people trying to out-Prince me. And it's one of those things that I'm partly amused by, and also partly it's really annoying. For instance, in the Des Dickerson video, I said Modanaire, and there were countless comments saying it's actually Modanaire. And I'm like, cool, well, I mispronounced it, And then they say, well, you're not a real Prince. You obviously don't know anything if you mispronounced a word. The increased level of scrutiny from the estate and from music copyright and stuff is one thing. But the moment that we start quibbling over small things like this, I think that starts to introduce a certain level of toxicity into the community here. A lot of the time, I'll end up just blocking those people because I try to keep this environment as positive as possible. And some of that comes from people who only are actually responding to titles of videos. There's a whole lot of people who I can tell did not watch my "Did Prince plagiarize the most beautiful girl in the world" video. They saw "Did Prince plagiarize the most beautiful girl in the world?" and they went immediately to the comments and said, no, these people are just trying to get money. They should leave Prince alone and he's dead now. And it's just like, yeah, but it's a 20-year-old case. There is a discussion. If it's a 2-minute video where I pop on and I go, hey, this thing's happening back, that's one thing. But usually it's any video that I make is part of a larger discussion, and you should really watch the whole thing before you comment on it. Otherwise, the discussion that we can have, and again, part of this is me interacting with you, the conversation that we can have is very small. I would say one of the other bad things about having a Prince channel is the constant accusations of trying to make money off of Prince's memory. This is actually something that actually hurts every time I hear it, because my videos are all done out of love. Do I monetize my videos? Yeah, I do. You know why? Because these videos take a lot of effort. They take a lot of time to put out. They take time to record, for the equipment, for editing. They take time away from my day job. They take time away from my family in order to do this. And those are not, you know, hey, I hate these things. These are things that I love doing, and that's why I do it. At the same time, because time is money, I do monetize my videos. And again, to accuse someone of exploiting someone's death, I think that's kind of gross, to be quite honest. You know, I came on as kind of a way to mourn, and that was kind of a cathartic process. And I think that I'm done with my mourning. That's what I'm saying, is I'm still here. And it's because it's no longer about, you know, lamenting the death of Prince, and it's more about celebrating Prince's life nowadays. So last but not least, here are a few tips if you are looking to start your own Prince channel, podcast, or what have you. Tip number 1, come up with something original. You want to give yourself an original name. You want to have a unique take on whatever it is that you're doing. And you should already know kind of where you want to go with it. You shouldn't be hoping that you're going to reach your goal. You should have a firm goal and have actually a good plan on how you plan on getting to that goal. That's actually the only way that you're going to reach success, especially since the playing field is starting to fill up, as it were. 2 is you should come up with a unique name. It's funny that I've actually grown to be pretty big with the name Prince's Friend, because if you Google Prince's Friend, you don't find me until at least page 2 or 3 of Google, because Prince's Friend is something that everybody says in the news, and that's what all of the journalists and stuff are using. They write Andre Simone, Prince's Friend, said this, and it's like, cool, well, I'm not in that, so if you Google me, you don't really find me. If you look for me on YouTube, you can. If you Google me, you won't. So you do want to come up with something that's original. Tip number 3, honestly, just start. There's nothing stopping you from using the camera on your phone and whatnot. If you look at some of my earlier videos, they were in like a dark room, terrible lighting, the camera wasn't as good as it is now, the sound wasn't as good, I didn't really have a lot of direction in what I was doing, but I had a passion, and that was what I was doing. Part of this whole experience for me has been sharing with all of you my passion and my love for it, and that's, you know, something that's unique for me. But I just started, and along the way, I've gotten better and better at it. So don't think that you need to come in and you need to have it be perfect at first. It's always good to, you know, jump in. So, if you have a YouTube channel, podcast, etc., and you have tips for anybody, make sure to put those in the comments. If you have any questions that you want me to answer about what it's like to have a Prince channel, put those in the comments, I'll answer them. Always important, I have a Twitter, an Instagram, a Patreon, and a Facebook. Don't forget to jump on those. Definitely follow me on all the different things. I post different stuff different places because some platforms are better for certain things. And I believe that I've ranted enough here. So I'm going to let you go on with your day. And until next time, may you live to see the dawn. And I love you all. Hey everybody, I hope that you really enjoyed that video. We're back with a new logo and new intros and new music, and we're going to have all the reviews, all of the discussions that has become kind of the staple of Prince's Friend, and we're very excited to bring that to you. Stick around for the fun.